I'll say this. People say I don't want to be a one-hit wonder, but I said, do you know how hard it is to actually have one hit though? There's like there's those people that have like millions or billions of streams, like that one song. Like, we played with a band called Wheatus, and their biggest song is Teenage Dirtbag. And they take pride in that. And I take pride in that. Like, they're in that playlist back then that was called One Hit Wonders. And it was so good. They made like 6 different versions of the Teenage Dirtbag song. And I was like, dude, yeah, make your money. Like, that's amazing.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters on That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. And today we'll have a special guest and another fellow Pennsylvanian, but on the other side of the state right here. We got Dave Kim from Moonroof. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
No worries. I'm Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so I totally respect where you're hailing from there too, so it's all good.
Oh, nice, man. Where? What part?
It's a little north of Pittsburgh, actually. So are you... Cool. What about you?
We're like right around Philadelphia.
Have you lived in Philly your whole life, or have you kind of jumped around a little bit?
Honestly, so early on, I was born in Seattle, and then I remember living in Korea just for a little bit, and then I came to like around Philadelphia, the suburbs. Like it's called like Lansdale, North Wales area, and then after that, I went to college, and that's where I met like the rest of the band, and then we decided to move closer to Philadelphia.
All right. I was just hoping people wouldn't be a little too upset after last night because unfortunately they missed out on trying to sweep the Penguins. So
no, I'm not really a hockey watcher, but my friends, they're really big Flyer fans. So
yeah, sorry. It's all right. Maybe better luck tomorrow. So all right. But I guess outside of that, what you and the band been up to?
Right now we've been actually just it's crazy, but we've been just trying to create social media, to promote our music. Also, we played a lot of shows before, but we're still playing a couple shows like colleges and festivals when things come our way. But yeah, and honestly, that's all we've been really trying to do, like just trying to promote our music.
I'll say, do they have a good presence on Facebook? Or as I like to say, whenever they're doing a whole lot of posts, you do a good amount of praying on there. So.
Oh yeah, we post 2 to 3 times on Facebook. And yeah, honestly, it's the funny story is we used to, because Facebook and Instagram are like owned by each other, we didn't know we had such a big following on Facebook until like midway, where like Instagram would be like, oh, you have like 10,000 views on this video or like 3,000 comments, and I would look at the post on Instagram and it said like 10 views. I was like, dude, it's such a lie. Like, I feel like this is hacked. And then one day I wake up and then my friend was like, dude, because he uses Facebook, he was like, dude, you guys are popping on here. I was like, so I went on there, and I really feel like I connect with the people there, honestly. So
that's how I was able to find you guys. And there's a couple of bands I've seen that kind of use like Moon, for instance. So I was seeing the name Moonroof. I was thinking more like Moontooth at first because that was like a band I had heard about.
We've heard everything like Moon Booth, and Moonroots a lot. So yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of Moon bands, but like I don't know. I feel like Moonroof, like for us, it just like kind of stuck with us, and then like I love how it went from like Moonroof music, like on our socials, because I don't know, it just like rolls off the tongue.
I guess it's easy to remember too, especially when it's one syllable word in this case. So
yeah, honestly, I just say Moonroof like right away. I used to say actually after shows, I don't do it anymore, but I would be like, look at the moon and look at the roof, and that's our name. But then my friends were like, you don't say that anymore. I was like, I know, dude.
Everyone needs a catchphrase, so I guess what's your catchphrase? You just
no, not really. Honestly, like even right now, like when we were younger, I used to introduce the whole band, but then at one point, like Moonroof is one, so we're just when people were like, introduce yourselves, like, oh, we're all good, like we're just Moonroof guys, we're Moonroof.
I
And
can
then
see it now.
I would tell people the opposite of a sunroof, or the same thing as a sunroof, almost. I don't know. In a car.
Actually, now we open up the window, we see the full moon right above us there too.
Yeah, that'd be super sick. Actually, someone put like made like a little tattoo thing, and they did like a drive-in movie theater with the and then it said Moonroof, and I was like, oh, that's so sick.
That could be our next album cover before you know it. So yeah,
yeah, definitely.
All right. I guess we're going to do a little promotion right here. So I guess what you and the boys going to be doing this year? I guess you're going to be releasing some new material and then got some shows lined up and everything?
Yeah, right now, actually, like I said, we are trying to plan more shows. And also, yeah, we're definitely going to try to release another single. We released our first single called Massachusetts in the beginning of January. And then every couple months, we'll try to release another song. But our album that came out last year, 2025, that took forever to write. So, we're still, we meet every week to write and practice still. But yeah, my main goal is to literally do shows and stuff. But for us nowadays, it has to be kind of worth it, like worth the drive, worth like everything, So it's kind of stinks because back then we used to take everything and we would have been like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter, dude. Like we'll pay for pizza and beer if you have us. And it's not like that anymore, honestly, which we're kind of happy about, honestly. We're kind of doing a lot better in that, way. But, some days you miss like the, old times,
Like that when it was just give us some food and we'll get you a show and we'll get those
yeah, right.
anyways.
No, honestly, like there's some places that are like, yo, you guys can stay here and you guys can like do all that. And I'll be like, oh man, that's amazing. That sounds awesome. But nowadays it's like, oh, come here. Because like before we got the following, I wish we got the following during our two like major tours because we traveled all over the South. Like we did like every state in the South basically. And then we did every state in the Midwest. So, and then people are like, oh, I saw you guys played here, like come back. And I was like, oh, we could, but like it has to be really worth it for us right now.
Because right now the money is tight on space. So
yeah, it's just being smart about it though, because like, playing colleges and playing all these other events that do pay pretty well, like that really funded us for the tours because a lot of bands that we've talked to, like when they went on tour, they were always like, oh yeah, we lost so much. And everyone's like, and I was in my head I was like, I really don't want to be like that. So I remember we were planning for the tours for a long time. Like, oh, we have like X amount and we're like going to be, if we make $0 from all the shows, then we're going to still be in the positive. But, luckily enough, there were a lot of people that did buy merch and everything. So that was awesome.
It does sound like more like this year, you're going to keep it more East Coast, maybe.
Yeah, honestly, we just, honestly, for a little while, I felt like a t-shirt company because we need to order like brand new merch because everyone was just online ordering. So they're listening to our music online and then they're like, oh, I'm going to buy shirts and hoodies and hats. And I was like, I was going to like the post office or whatever that place is, like, honestly, like 2 times a week. I felt like they like recognized me and they're like, why do you keep on bringing so many packages? I was like, oh, I'm in a band and we're always trying to give, like, we're just doing merch stuff. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. But yeah, I definitely would love to, if it was, being in a band, like if I had the choice, I would love to be on the road like 24/7. But, everyone else, they're just, they're more of the thinker. I'm the dreamer and they're the more realistic type of guys. I'm like the kind of guy that's like, oh, let's go. And then they're just more like, yo, let's think about this, which I really do appreciate at the end of the day. We don't argue about stuff like that, but, at the end of the day, I do appreciate them for that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Actually, I was going to say, do you have a nickname for your fans? Because You
Oh
think of
yeah,
like
I mean, there's so
Mag-
many that people create for. I don't know. I heard moon roofers and also moon rockers. I don't mind those. Like that was like moon roofers and then moon rockers. I was like, that's cool. It's better than the other one that people said. I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
I was just thinking like the Mooninites go to Aqua Teen Hunger Force back in the day.
Oh,
Stuff like that.
nice. No, it's like nicknames are huge. You know, I hope you know, once we get bigger, I hope everyone says, "Hey, I'm a day one kind of guy."
As you know, I was thinking like Slipknots, when they would refer to their fans as maggots in this case, since I guess they
Oh,
were
really?
crazy doing
Oh
all
no, I
crazy
didn't even
stuff.
know that.
Yeah. Nope. That light's pretty much dead. But let's roll. Yeah. It was just actually you never really got to like any metal or anything. You kind of always been more the pop rock and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we're like more indie rock and stuff, but honestly, I like bands like, well, we like bands all over the place, you know, like Johnny's favorite band is Slow Pulp. Dan is getting more like his big thing was 21 Pilots, but now he's a really big Turnstile fan. I'm a Turnstile fan too. I think they're really cool. But also I like bands like 1975. Kevin, he's always like bands like, you know, I'll say Weezer, definitely, and then also like Arctic Monkeys and stuff. So we all like bands that are different, but our music. When people say what bands do we sound like, I'll be honest. I don't feel like we really don't sound like many bands, which is a great thing sometimes, but it's also could be like a little curse because we have so much. You know, a lot of people. It's hard to describe us. I'll say that much.
So I guess whenever people ask about influences in that case, I know it's one of the questions I said to you, but I
Yeah,
guess it's kind of
I
hard
was
to
like,
pick it up.
well, we say what bands we really enjoy. Like we like Two Door Cinema Club. We like The Killers. We like, you know, 1975. Do we sound like them? Probably not. But, you know, I think I more relate to what everyone says about our music. Everyone says our music's very nostalgic. Like like all the comments are like, "Oh, this takes me back to this time," or "This takes me back to this," or "This takes me back when I had a boyfriend," or I don't know, you know. So
Like I was in a dating scene and get my groove on, that sort of thing.
yeah,
So
or like, oh, I went through like a nasty divorce, and this brought me back to. I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's not the best, but you know, a lot of people, even in the DMs, like they always say what song means most to them, and we always appreciate that.
I was actually picking up a little bit more of like Silver Sun pickups when I was listening to a couple
Oh
songs
yeah,
over
we've heard that
those.
before too. Like honestly, like I like that kind of thing. I'm just trying to figure out like because so many bands, like there's so many people that listen to bands, but yeah, my goal is for our band just not to be I guess you would say like tiresome or like corny, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of great bands, but you know, like think about this, like I think like Coldplay, it's one of the biggest bands in the world. Like do I listen to Coldplay really? Not really, but it's like, you know, or like Walk the Moon, like they were an amazing band, and then like that Shut Up and Dance With Me song came on like 100,050 times, and I was like, man, I really do not like this song that much anymore. But like, yeah, no disrespect to them. Of course, they're amazing. They're like super talented, 100 times bigger than us. But you know, yeah, we just don't want to be that band that says like, oh man, I'm so tired of Moonroof. I'll be like, dude, what? We really came across you guys.
Yeah. Actually, I think more it was more like One Trick Pony in this case. You have the one
Yeah,
song, that's all they remember you by.
I'll say this. People say I don't want to be a one hit wonder, but I said, do you know how hard it is to actually have one hit though? Like, there's those people that have like millions or billions of streams, like that one song. Like, you know, we played with a band called, you know, Wheatus, and their biggest song is Teenage Dirtbag. And you know, they take pride in that. And I take pride in that. Like they're in that playlist back then that was called One Hit Wonders. And it was so good. They made like 6 different versions of the Teenage Dirtbag song. And I was like, dude, yeah, make your money. Like that's amazing. And he even said like a long time ago, like TikTok like resurfaced their career because there was like a whole trend with like like getting like old photos and like teenage dirtbag kind of thing. Like I remember seeing it like trending like crazy on TikTok. So kudos to them, and they're like touring all the time. So yeah, it would be awesome to play with them again. But yeah, like I think it's like one hit wonders, super hard. So when people are like, I don't want to be that, I'll be like, I'll take one hit. Like that's cool with me. I'll take one hit.
I mean, hey, we're doing something right. So
Yeah, right.
All right. But since we did delve into some of the questions right here, I guess we'll go back to, in this case, we kind of were like in medias res, in this case, for thinking like a story. But let's get to know you more a little bit, as well as maybe a little bit more of the band and how you guys met. So I guess we'll start here with the first question, actually. But who are you? And I guess how did you become a musician?
Okay, cool. My name is Dave. I'm the singer of Moonroof, and the rest of the band. Kevin is the bassist. Johnny is the guitarist and backup vocalist, and Dan is our drummer. Also a quote unquote leader, I would say. I like we always say I'm the face of the band, but Dan is the heart of the band, and I will totally agree with that. Without Dan, I'll say the band would have died like 3 separate times. But yeah, no, like we all met at Bloomsburg University, right here. Wrap it up. But like Bloomsburg University, go Huskies. Funny story was that me and Kevin became roommates in our freshman year. And then 2 a.m, you know, I would always sing. I was a theater kid kind of, so I sang in the showers all the time at 2 a.m. Dan never slept, so Dan would hear me because his room was next to the bathroom. So Dan literally knocked on my door when Kevin was gone, and then he was like, "Hey, was that you singing?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was." And he was like, "Oh, would you ever want to be in a band?" Because Kevin and Dan were like, "Oh, in high school we were in bands," and I was like, "I'll be honest, I even tell it's a joke, like no race involved, but I said like, man, that's like a white person thing, dude." I was like, I was like, it's like, no, dude, that'll be good. So I asked Kevin, and then we asked Kevin asked our friend Nick Salucci, and then we just formed the band. And there was like no music scene there, so we would do open mics, and like whenever they had like little events, like they would just ask us to play. And I remember we were graduating, and then we played like this kind of like a large festival in Bloomsburg, and everyone asked me, "What are you gonna do after? Like you guys were amazing. What are you guys gonna do next?" And I said, "Nothing. We're graduating. We're done." So I remember like, you know, thinking about that, and I just went to those guys like, "Hey guys, I know I can be lazy sometimes, but if you guys move down to my area or Philadelphia area, like let's give this band thing a chance." So it took a little bit, but we finally got down to Philadelphia, and we, you know, it was hard, of course, but it was also like really rewarding just because, you know, when people say, you know, with all of the, what are they called? Like the Nepo babies or like the industry plants. Like I can tell you right now, we are the farthest thing away from any of that because like I said, like we weren't from Philadelphia. So when we first came here, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're not even from Philly or this, like you guys can't like do this." And I was like, "Dude, this is crazy." It's like, you know, the brotherly love scene wasn't really the brotherly love for us, but we worked our way into it. And then now Philly's our home and everything's great. But yeah, so, and then years later, Nick left, and then we had some between guitars, but then I think 2023 is when Moonroof actually became like a legit band. And that's when Johnny joined, because his first show, we played like awesome places and all the things. So, and all the touring was with Johnny. So yeah, so that's our story really, honestly. It's like kind of crazy because like I said, like, you know, band members leave. Me and Kev and Dan are the original members, but like, you know, we've had in between guitarists kind of things. But yeah, sometimes there's a point of our lives where like, oh, maybe this band thing's not working out. But then for some, like, I tell people all the time, like, I don't have a plan B. This is my only plan. So we put our heart and soul into this, and then kind of works out from there. And that's why it took a while, but we released our first album in 2025, even though we like started Moonroof around like 2018 after college kind of stuff.
Okay, that explains a lot. And I was trying to also make sure I had the history facts in lighter too, especially since COVID happened there in 2020 and I guess up to 2023, really, since that seems to be when you quote unquote resurface back to being
Yeah,
Moonroof again.
dude, 2020 was it was personally it was like a really good time for me, but also it was there was no music. I remember after I had COVID, I went down to Florida with Kevin to help Dan's mom with something, and then I remember there was like live music everywhere. And I said, yeah, I don't know how long COVID lasts, dude, but we might have to move down to Florida or like move down to Georgia or something because there's live music everywhere we went. And then we were the only ones with masks on. I remember that. That's how they knew we were tourists, though, because we had masks.
Kind of unfortunate, but yeah, they were a little bit more lenient. As I think you could also say, even COVID likes Florida too, in this case. So
Yeah, honestly, COVID, I don't know how, like, it was COVID started 2019 at the end of it, right? Or no, 2020. It was 2020.
it was technically beginning of 2020, but it was kind of, I think maybe 2019 there was maybe something surfacing, but 2020 officially February when it started.
And then 2022, what, 2021 or 2?
I say maybe 2022 when maybe some sort of restrictions were lifted. If it was 2021, it really depended on the state too. But
Yeah, it's true.
so
It wasn't that friendly with that, honestly. I remember everywhere I went, everyone had a mask, which was like, it's great, but it's also, it wasn't great, but, it was like a nice thing to do. But I had such a bad time breathing in those masks, man. I would like put my hoodie up and I would be like, oh, man. And I didn't never wanted to sneeze, especially with like, there was a big time for us. I was always scared for my mom and dad because, the Asian hate was really bringing it on. And I just wanted to tell everyone, like, my parents and I are Korean, we're not from China kind of thing, like all that stuff. So it was like it was like a definitely a rough time for that. But yeah, I'm happy that we survived it. And yeah, hopefully nothing ever like that ever happens again. Right? Cross your fingers.
that's for sure. I guess the rest of the band members too and their families. Was everyone okay? I just want to make sure everyone they get really affected by COVID that much, whether mentally or
Yeah,
even
no, honestly,
physically.
we didn't know Johnny at the time, but Dan, me, Dan, and Kev were like living together. So we only saw each other really. But there were some like, oh yeah, that's what it was. Like we did a lot of live sessions. And at first live sessions were really cool. But then by like the fifth or sixth one, I was like, man, this is not fun. You know what I mean? It's like they were supposed to be shows, but then now we have to do live. So they said act like we're at a show. So I was like, yo, what's up, guys? Like, thanks for being here. And then it'll be like dead silence, and I'll be like, yeah, let's go. And then when I saw the videos, I was like, God, who am I talking to? Like, no one's even here. But it's like, but it was funny. You lived through it.
I guess so. But on a serious note, good seeing the families are doing well there. So good to have you along here for the ride, Dave.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Yeah. No, honestly, I'm happy. Yeah, everyone else is doing pretty well. Honestly, I hope so. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, all of our parents are good. So I hope your family did right with that too.
It was a couple tough years, but not so much COVID related. It was other factors, but we got through it. So
I'm sorry about that, man.
Yeah. It was a lot to take in at the time, but we're doing okay. Thank you, though.
I'm sure.
All right. I guess even the music scene, when you guys started to take off, what'd you say, 2023 or in that range, I guess? What was the music
I'll say
scene
like 2022, 2023 at the end, because that's when we started like doing shows a lot more. But I'll say like 2024 was a really big year for us just because that was our first time that we did like the national touring where we would, we traveled to places before, but that was the first time in 2024 to 2025, like at the beginning of it, like I think we traveled like 34 states or something. And it was a really big deal because there's been people that have been following us on our journey for a long time and we finally get to meet them. And that was huge, actually. That like gave me all the energy I needed, honestly. Like it didn't matter like if how big the show was. I mean, we've been lucky enough. Like some shows I recall, like shout out to Tampa, Florida, shout out to Ann Arbor, shout out to, you know, Texas, Houston, and Dallas. Like those shows are great. But it was really cool to always have certain types, a certain couple of people that actually been following us from like the beginning. You know what I mean? And they were like buying merch and all that stuff and taking photos. I was signing stuff. I was like, man, this is so cool. But nowadays, yeah, honestly, I miss those days. But right now, like we're just trying to see what our next step is. You know what I mean? That's really what the whole thing is, like trying to grow. I feel like Cass said it best, like growing, and then we have to show it.
I guess even some of the venues, were these like your more smaller ones, or were they kind of a mixed up bar with a nice stage? In there?
Sometimes the venues were like, they were not bars, they're just more like like I would say like they're venues, you know what I mean? They're like you know, like 200, 300, 400 cap rooms. Like, and some of those would be packed. Sometimes like, you know, I told everyone if we went on like 70 shows total in those different states, then I said like I'll say like 85% were good, 10% were like weird, and then 5% was just bad. So like one or two like were like bad, of course. I won't say what, but it was definitely just bad. Like, oh man, I was like, man, I don't really want to come back. I was like, I don't want to come back ever. But you know, I'll give it another chance. You know what I mean?
I think it was like I wake up with some disease. No, thank you, or that sort of deal. So.
Oh, dude, honestly, that's the funny thing. Even on tour, I felt sick for one day, but then I felt great the next day. Dan always says I have a very high metabolism, not metabolism, but you know, immune system or something. But like, but Dan, I remember, and then Johnny actually got sick too. I don't know what, like, they just felt like it was like the flu thing during that time. I don't know, but we were lucky enough. It was the end of our tour, so everyone went home. But I remember they were like, "Man, I got sick," and I was like, "So I hope I didn't give it to them." But yeah, but no, it's just like, I guess you would say like there's a thing called like band etiquette, and we practice that so much. Like if you're playing with bands, of course, first greet yourself. You know, thank the bands that are playing with you. That's one. And then like watch the other bands as well, you know? And that sounds like a very like easy thing to do. I'm not calling anyone out. I'm saying that sounds like a very like, oh wow, you should do that. But the bands, the places that, you know, that weren't the best was like, you know, bands that after they played, they left, you know what I mean? Or they didn't introduce themselves. And I was just like, oh, well, it's fine. But you know, with like one bad show like that, there was like 10 people that they're like, oh man, like give it out to these guys. They're all the way from Philadelphia, Moonroof, and I would talk to them, hang out with them, drink with them, or eat with them. It was a cool time. You know, we made some really good friends along the tour, honestly. But there's some bands that after they don't, it's always funny. They're like, hey, like we want to play in Philly, and I'm like, yeah, like the bands that didn't really like us or what, or like didn't even like stay for us, are like, we would love to play in Philly. And I was like, oh yeah, dude, like maybe one day that'll be sick. And I'm like, nah, in my head, I'm like, I don't think so, dude. Yeah, I'm like, nah, cut it out, dude. Cut it out.
I guess so. That does suck too, because you really want to try to form these sorts of friendships here too.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's so many bands like, you know, I'll actually shout some out. Like, there's a band called Barely Civil and like Lake Drive in Milwaukee. Very friendly dudes, and they're very supportive. And then there's a band in Ann Arbor, Moravian. In Tampa, there was a bunch of bands that were amazing. Like, it's just like they showed us that friendliness. You know what I mean? Like, they knew we drove like 5 hours to get there. They're like, hey. Like, and Dan, you know, we always let every band, because we're on tour, like use our kit or use our bass amp or guitar amp, because we wanted the show to go very smoothly. You know, we're not the type of people that are like, no, you can't touch that. Like, no, like, please, like, you want to use that, we can make the show go very easy. And like 99% of the time that happened, and then like sometimes it did.
You immediately made me think of the Step Brothers scene where one guy keeps
Wait,
Will Ferrell. I was thinking of the Step Brothers scene where Will Ferrell touches.
Yeah. No,
the guy jumps in. Yeah, don't touch it. That whole deal. So,
well, it's actually funny you would say that. It's just it's most of the time it is the drummer. You know, they're like, "Don't touch my stuff." I'm like, or like, "Please, like, don't even." I was trying to, like, yeah, okay, but moving on.
That's for sure. But keep going strong out there and keep forming the relationships and friendships you make along the way there, buddy. So
yeah, we try. We try to be. I don't know. It's like I'm sure like it happens to a lot of bands, but I don't know. For some reason, like when we play with someone or even meet them, like I just want to see what's in like what they're thinking of. You know, like I want to read what's going on for them or like what opportunities and everything. Like I don't. And they're living at different states, so it's not like we're like really competing, you know what I mean? It's just more like, hey, what are you guys doing, or what are you guys up to, kind of thing.
I say when you start getting to deep sort of friendships, then you can make it a friendly sort of competition in a way. So
yeah,
like,
honestly, yeah, we definitely have some friends, you know, and in the Philadelphia area, but yes, most of the time it is a friendly competition. I'll say that much.
Fair enough. And I am kind of jumping a little bit ahead, but it's kind of delves into the challenges, I guess, these days with you guys being Moonroof and all, because when we were talking about COVID, you seem to talk about how there seemed to be that rise of Asian hate that kind of went around during the COVID years. Do you still kind of face that these days? And what are challenges do you feel like you guys face these days as Moonroof?
I don't think it's like I face them anymore, but I'll be honest, my life I've kind of like I've been used to that just because like in like even at my university, like not in a hateful way, but sometimes it could be, but like I was always known as Asian Dave. Like my nickname for like 4.5 or 5 years was Asian Dave. Like people that didn't know me, they just call me Asian Dave. You know what I mean? So it was like it wasn't until I moved to Philadelphia where I was like, oh, like people were like, oh, that stinks. I'm like, oh yeah. It's like I guess it did. I guess I don't know, but it's like, but you know, there's also like a lot. Like when we went south, or you know, some places like they're the nicest people. They have their family with them, but they would be like, oh, I've never heard like a Chinese singer sing as good as you. And then I would be like, and then they're in front of their family, so I'm not gonna be like, well, actually, no, I'm not like that. But I'll be like, oh, dude, thank you so much. I'll just be like, cool, what's up? Like, appreciate it. Or they're like, what kind of island are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm not really from an island, dude. Like, you know, I was born in Seattle. You know, my parents are from Korea. It's not really an island, you know. So it's kind of like small things like that. But like I said, I get used to it. Kind of just roll through the thing, and it kind of. But it's always so funny too. Like, you know, most of our shows, like, majority of the crowd is, you know, like white or Caucasian. So I stick out like a sore thumb. But like my friends, like, you know, if they're hanging around me after a show, they're like, people would be like, yo, you did amazing, like to me. And then they'll look at my friends who didn't even play, you know, they weren't even playing. But I guess they kind of look like Dan, Kevin, and Johnny. They like go to them and be like, you guys were amazing too. And then my friends would always be like, thank you so much. We tried our best, you know what I mean? So it was always so funny, like when that happened. Still happens to this day, actually, but it's actually hilarious.
I kept thinking of like King of the Hill, where, or I forget his name at the moment right there too, but he was Laotian. Actually, they couldn't actually piece it together. He's from Laos.
Yeah, no, I actually did. I didn't watch that show too much, but I definitely think I remember actually some parts. You know, we were always like actually on tour. We were just trying to get our perfect Bobby voice, like, I can't do it right now, but you know what I mean.
I should know as far as the bad stereotypes to be like, what you want, that whole deal, or basically be like the strict sort of maybe Japanese, maybe it's more like Japanese or Chinese, I don't know, but it's the bad stereotype of the Asian community.
No, so, honestly, I think right now, like Asian culture, even it's like, you know, I know plenty of people that aren't Asian and they love like food, of course, like Korean food or even sushi, but also people like anime. And if you like anime, I think you're awesome kind of person. And then also just like, even like Netflix, like that K-pop Demon Hunters, it was like number one. There's like a bunch of things to be proud of. Like I'll be honest as well. Like when I was growing up, I wasn't very proud to be like between us, like, or whatever. Like I wasn't the most proud to be like Asian American. And then nowadays I feel like, that's a cool thing. It also makes, the band different. Like I tell people all the time, like we're in the indie rock scene and like most people that are the front men don't look like me. Like, so it's kind of like a cool thing to stick out. Like, and I take pride in that, and hopefully we can just take it to another level kind of thing.
This one kind of does go back to the band in a way, but it's more so like the motivation that keeps you guys going. So even throughout, even coming out of COVID and even having all the shows and even making a nice following. And I think at some point, it seems like some musicians end up taking a second job at some point. But for the question, what is it in terms of motivation that keeps you guys going being Moonroof?
Honestly, that's a great question. It's just because, like Dan and Kev, like what Kev works from home, so it's always been easy. But Dan's always had like different kind of jobs with like PTO and stuff. For me, I've never had like a 9 to 5. I've only had like odd jobs and everything. So I have like the most time for the band and everything, because like I said, I just have like a vision, and it's just like, I don't know, my motivation. Like I said, I don't really have a choice in this anymore. I put too much time, like money and like blood and tears into this band. And everyone else, they just see it. I'm just very lucky. I've been with these guys for so long, and like they just like kind of still share the same vision. But like I said, they're more of the realistic side. Like, for me, I'm always the dreamer. I've always been like that. But yeah, I'm just lucky to have a group of guys that, are still gung-ho about everything and grateful for the opportunities. But like the motivation is like, we, like I said, we're from Bloomsburg, and, my director back then, he retired recently, but he was my choral director. His name is Dr. Baker, and he was like seeing us in like the magazine or seeing us on articles, and he was like, yeah, you guys are like the biggest band from Bloomsburg. And then a lot of our peers actually say that as well. We're the biggest band from Bloomsburg. So in their mind, we already made it, you know what I mean? But I'll be honest, there's no music from Bloomsburg. So it's like kind of like we're the biggest in a small pond. But now that we moved to Philadelphia, like we're not small in Philly, but like people do know of us, our name. But we're not at the high level. And my goal is for us to reach that. And then, I don't know, I always tell people we have one life, and it's sad to hear, but we have one life. So why not try to do something? You know what I mean? You don't want to like go through life with like a lot of regrets. And I feel like that's a couple of our songs, like we did Running in Place, like going back home late for like, parking tickets and like all that stuff, and like going back just for useless retirement kind of thing. Because like, I know people get, they retire at whatever age when you get your 401k, but then, when you retire, you can't really like enjoy going to like, I don't know, on roller coasters and stuff. We joke around about that actually all the time. Like you wouldn't even want to do that, but yeah.
It's something like that. Actually, in your case, you sound like you're going to be like the Ozzy Osbourne who just refuses to finally say like, I'm gonna go on that stage, and God damn it, I'm gonna probably die on there.
Yeah, honestly, I told people that'd be a really cool way to pass on it, but like, I don't know. I just tell people, my friends kind of say like I've always been like the actually friends and like not my family, but like my friends' family. They always said when they met me, they've always said I was like a non-cookie cutter, which I didn't understand at the point. But then she was always saying like, well, everyone's going this way and you kind of do your own path kind of thing. And I was like, oh, I hope that's not bad. And it's like, no, that's good. That means you have like a certain personality. So I've always been like that. So
Yep. You're doing a great job out there, mate. So keep doing what you're doing.
thank you, brother. That means a lot. Yeah. It's just putting
No,
yourself out there because, like I said, not everyone's going to like you, but you just have to keep on like trying little by little.
that's for sure. All right. So we at least got the serious topics out of the way here too. Now we jump to the fun topic of gear. So I guess what you got?
Hey, yo, I'm like the wrong person to ever talk about gear stuff with because I'll say this. You know, I'm the singer, so I lift all the heavy stuff, but I know we have like, the in-ears and we have like, Johnny is the gear person because he always goes to the sound guy and he explains it super clear. And then they ask me, I'm just like, oh, like I know we have this and that, but like, yeah, gear, like, I know, none of us have like, how bands bring like 5 guitars or like 2 basses and all that? We're not like that. I think we're actually one of the most simple bands because like every sound person we've ever worked with, like they would always be like, well, that was easy. Or thanks for being easy. I'm like, yeah, awesome.
I guess what kind of microphone do you use? Do you have a
I
particular one?
use the mic they give me. I want a golden mic though. I definitely want that's the only thing I've actually wanted. And I used to work at like music and arts, like this music shop, just for a little bit. But they got these like crazy discounts. Like, they didn't tell me until like the middle of when I was working, but that's where we got most of our gear for like the backing tracks and other stuff. But then they told me I had a choice of staying or going on tour. And I said, well, I'm going on tour. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for the opportunity. But I should have stayed like a couple more weeks to order that gold mic because I found out that it was on sale. And I was like, dang.
Yeah, that would have been cool. And like I said, for the gear, it's to be continued at this point. So
Yeah, no. Like, sorry about that. We're not the most gear heavy person. I like none of us. Johnny went to actual school for well, I was a music major for a little bit, but then I switched. But then Johnny actually went to school for music engineer kind of thing. So he went to University of Arts in Philly, but then they just like, well, it was funny on tour, like they just disbanded, like the school was just like, yeah, we're done.
that sucks.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. Like we're in Minnesota, and we just like were at an Applebee's, and Johnny took out his phone. He was like, "Oh, my school's done." And I was like, "Oh, damn."
Oh no. All right. Sorry, Johnny. I mean, it was more of a try. At least the best there. So.
No, he graduated, so that's all that matters.
Oh, he did graduate, and then
Yeah, he
it closed.
graduated from that. He's just saying his alma mater just died out.
Okay. So okay, that's good then. All right. But are you the primary songwriter? Do you write all the lyrics for all the songs you
Actually,
release?
I do write a lot of the lyrics, but then I'll say I feel like Johnny and Kevin and sometimes Dan, like I'll write a lot, like I'll make a lot of the melodies and I'll have like between lyrics, and sometimes it's really catchy that we just keep them. But then sometimes, Johnny and Kev, like they'll say like, "No, Dave, that's like really corny." And that's like they say it's the corn meter or something. Like, they don't like when I say like "I love you" kind of stuff. So yeah, it's like there's a meter, and Dan will be the first one. Don't do that either. So I always say they just make a lot of the lyrics mature and relatable still, but like not corny. And I appreciate them for that. Sometimes.
I guess I was gonna say some of the songs that you have written. The ones I also checked out was 2 a.m., Chocolate, Maybe Crazy, Honey Honey seem to be like your biggest ones there. I guess what are those songs delve into? Are they relationship sort of songs?
Yeah, they're mostly all about relationships, honestly. It's more like, it's upbeat. It sounds like you're in love, but honestly, most of the songs, I'm not like anti-love, but it's more like, like maybe crazy. It's like going back to the crazy. It's like, can someone help me, please? Like, like, or like, honey, honey, you're driving me crazy kind of thing. Like, I don't really like, I don't really need to be in this situation like this kind of. And I feel like people do relate to that. I feel like a lot of people do tell me that because I don't really like songs that are like we sound like very like upbeat and like happy, but if you actually listen to all the lyrics, it's like, oh no, this is like kind of sad. And then everyone's like, yeah, I kind of like that though. You know what I mean? Like has the opposites going on, but that's what we always talk about. Like if it's relatable, like we sang music about like dating apps. We sang music about, but we try not to blame anyone. It's more like, oh, like you're blaming yourself for putting yourself in a situation like this. So it's kind of cool when people are like, oh, I super relate to the song. And I'm like, oh, nice.
That's for sure. Though it seemed like the 2 a.m. song, I think it was what you were referencing earlier with singing in the shower. And who'd you say it was, Johnny at the time? Or
wait, who said? Oh, no. It was Dan. It was Dan who used to like it was like 2:00 in the morning. And then that's funny because me and Dan, like actually our whole freshman year, we did like all-nighters. And we would just like play video games and just hang out. And I'll say for myself, I didn't go to class too much, but but I still graduated, so we're all good. But yeah, no, it was a fun time. But yeah, I'm a night owl still to this day though. Like wake up pretty early. Well, not early compared to everyone else, but sorry. When I'm like, I usually sleep around like 5 in the morning, and then I'll wake up around like 10, and then do my day. So that's really what I try to do.
I have that problem too. And it's actually started to become a factor now because I have that problem of going to bed close to midnight. I was supposed to be up at like 7 a.m. to go to my 9 to 5 job.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, dude. Yeah, Dan actually does that all the time. Like we'll be coming back from the studio, and like Kevin too back then, like coming back from the studio. Well, Kevin works from home, but I'm saying Dan, he would like we would leave at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and Dan's like, yeah, I gotta be up in like 5 hours. So I was like, yeah, Jesus.
Jeez. Yep. Apparently we're nocturnal, to say the least.
So. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, as you get older, it kind of like, for me, I still feel pretty youthful, but it's, it's like staying up late. It's like kind of nice because you get to do all the work that you wanted to do, whether it's like emails or like doing social media stuff, and like no one's in the roads. Like it's just you outside, you by yourself. And then, yeah, it's kind of nice actually.
That's for sure. And the studio you just mentioned, just the one that you guys normally go on to record all your songs, or is this?
Yeah, it's called Little Brother Audio. It's owned by a guy named Ty Ripley. He's actually our label guy. It's Free Dive Records. He's the one who runs all everything, and he's the one who made our music sound, I would say, a lot crispier. And just he's basically like our manager because he kind of has like an idea for us all the time, especially with the growth of everything. He's always just trying to be like, what can we do next? Like, how do we do this next? Like, you guys played here, now you guys have to do, like, it's kind of like that. It's kind of nice to have someone in the corner just telling us like, focus up.
That's pretty cool. We'll give a shout out to Ty because he's been doing some killer work there too, making your music.
Oh yeah, no, dude, he does great work. Also, he does shout out to Ty. He does the sound for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he has 2 Super Bowl rings. And I told him when we get big, let me wear them.
We are getting a selfie pic with that on.
Oh, easily, dude. I already said that. I was gonna do the 2 fingers like this, especially the last Super Bowl ring. He showed it to me, and I was like, dude, that's crazy.
Actually, we do have a coworker at the place I work at who's big into Philly sort of stuff. So he tends to poke fun at us because of this recent draft that happened, or the NFL draft that happened here in Pittsburgh. So I think.
Oh Philly, yeah, dude. No, I was actually really big into the NFL draft this year. I was just watching it, and I was like, I'm happy with the Eagles picks, of course. Pittsburgh, I think they'll do pretty well. You guys got yourself what? Did you guys draft the quarterback?
Second round.
Who is it?
It was that Drew Alar from Penn State, which
Drew Alar. Nice.
I don't know, a little iffy about it, but it's one of those. Let's see what happens.
So. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, I hope Aaron Rodgers comes back for 1 more year.
No, I think we're done at that point.
No, done with that? Okay.
That's like, please, God, good. No.
He's pretty good. He beat the Ravens.
By the skin of their teeth twice. So, that's a bad memory. We're just happy we got an NFC North title out of it. So let's just leave that
nice.
So, all right. For the last question here, before we delve into some extra fun ones, it kind of delves into AI and social media. So what do you make of both AI and social media these days? A bit of a double-edged sword?
I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of AI. Or just like I'm not the person that's like anti-AI, but also I'm just like, I like real. I've always been like a real dude. So I don't know. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I know people get even worried about like the Nepo babies or the industry plant kind of things, but like AI kind of gets built into that. Like everything's like kind of like, I don't know. There's a band recently I saw. The band is called like Geese, and they're like a really big band, but then like everyone's turning on them because they had like fake management where like there were like so many like fake people like rooting them up in like the algorithm. And I told people if like, I don't know, but I'm never gonna like discredit like industry plans because I feel like that's just their job. Like if we started as a band, Moonroof, and they're like, hey guys, I'm gonna give you guys the red carpet. I'm gonna make you guys huge, like right now. And I'll be like, okay, dude, let's go. I'll be like, cool, man. But then I wouldn't even know what I don't like. For me, I never really grew up on the industry plan, but I've been like, ever since that Geese, I've been seeing a lot more on Instagram and Facebook what an industry plan is. Like someone on our Facebook said the monkeys back then, and I was like, oh, nice. I was like, okay, cool. We're like, you know, I don't know. Do you like industry plants? I'll say that much.
I think the problem is there was someone I interviewed who does about 80 to 90%. Give a shout out to Mr. Kane, aka Fuzzy Death Machine, out on the West Coast there.
Fuzzy Death Machine.
Actually, his music's pretty funny too. It looks a little explicit, but it's pretty funny. But he uses it a little bit, and he confesses that yes, a majority of it is AI music. So it's tough in that case because you really don't want to be kind of sort of a sellout in that case. But you want to also be a legit musician there too, to really show that you're putting in the work.
Oh no, honestly, even if someone said we want to give you the red carpet, I would be like, hey, can we still write 100% of the music? You know what I mean? Like the music has to be from us. Like that's just me. Like, and like AI, like to be honest, I'm like, I never touch AI, so I don't even know what I know. There's so many like videos actually I watch of AI on TikTok and Instagram, but those are things that I just laugh at. I'm not really like, wow, this is amazing. Like this is like true artwork. This is great. But yeah, I feel like movies will kind of be done faster because of AI and everything. I've been watching Harry Potter, but he's like really jacked. Like it's like I forgot what it is, but it's like Harry Potter, but it's like it's just the AI of Harry Potter, but everyone's like really jacked and they're working out and it's like kind of funny to me. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it seems like, and I've always brought this question up in my other interviews, but it seems like you want to use it strictly as a tool, like social media in this case. I admit, I've used it for social media. I made it to make thumbnails too, for some of my drum covers that I do. So.
Oh, nice. No, honestly, anyone that uses it, like as long as you show the real you, that's totally cool with me. It's just I know for a fact that for us, we're probably not even good at it, honestly. So we just kind of like I don't know. I feel like, okay, AI is smarter than me. I know that, but they don't have a human heart. And I feel like emotional intelligence is a huge part of, life. So hopefully we could be AI and emotional intelligence. Hopefully.
EI instead of AI in that case. So
Yeah. Yo, that's good. Let's use EI instead of AI. That's good, actually.
I don't know. I think we might cause offense if we want to say something or make an offensive remark. In that case, then we hurt people's feelings.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Nah. That's why I say, like, even my band, like, they're just, you gotta be careful. Anything you put online nowadays, and also you don't want to offend anyone. Even though there's bands that's like, oh yeah, we don't care. It's just, yeah. I'm not gonna say anything, but I just hope, people that listen to us, they aren't like, I guess you would say, too sensitive. You know what I mean? Like too, like you can be sensitive because I'm an emotional guy, but I'm saying just too sensitive. That's all it is.
Something like that. Not too sure how far we actually are going with that, but tread carefully in that case if we want to get too sensitive. So,
Oh yeah. No. Like that's not what I meant. I just meant more people that are like hate it, like people that hate like really easily. Like I don't really like that. Like when people hate people without like any like reason to. I just feel like people online just want to hate for no reason. Not us, but I've seen it for other people.
they judge me before they even get to know me.
That's exactly actually like it's like I don't know. Anytime someone puts like any type of video online, like I give it to them. Like sometimes the videos could be really like weird or bad, but like a lot of people. I watch a lot of people like work out, or a lot of people like what they eat in a regular day. Like it's kind of cool to me to see that. But it's also like, it has to be a little nerve wracking. Like you're gonna have like plenty of people seeing you eat chilies or eat like going to the gym, like what I mean?
Always get you with the selfies, always flexing after a nice little
Yeah,
bicycle
no. Oh,
workout.
I don't want those people like to be bothering, but like, anyone that's like, I love people that are like, hey, I was like 300 pounds and now I'm like a good weight now, but it took me a while. Like I worked out and I love seeing like that inspires me to go to the gym, you know what I mean, all the time.
That's for sure. In that case, keep up the good work and tread carefully with the whole AI deal. So we'll see what
Yeah,
happens. All right. So, Dave, we have briefs with questions here. Pretty good. So let's get through some fun ones real quick. Ready?
cool.
All right. So I'm curious if there's a particular dish I've not heard about yet, but do you have a favorite food of all time?
Oh, like we actually are you saying like favorite like tour food or favorite any food?
Let's make it interesting. Let's do both.
All right, our favorite tour food. I mean, it's probably Taco Bell, just because it's probably our best thing. You know what I mean? Like we always at like 1 o'clock in the morning, like after a show. Taco Bell's number one. We're really hoping they sponsor us one day soon, so that'd be really cool. And my favorite food. I love like Mexican food, but also my mom's Korean food. Not any just Korean food. I'll say my mom's Korean food.
I actually did during COVID. We actually got the Hello Fresh, the meals they give you in the boxes and everything, and then you just put it all together. There was the Korean bibimbap.
Bibimbap. Yeah. No, I understand.
So,
Nah, dude,
good.
it's weird though. At restaurants, like it still could be good, but my mom, she does something to it. Maybe it's made with love, but it's amazing. I'm like, every time I visit home, that's all I want.
Good woman. So get much love and respect. So
Yeah.
all right. Not sure how much you get to TV, but I guess do you have a favorite movie and TV show you consider your favorite these days?
That's a huge one, man. That's all I do. Like honestly, except for the band, when I want to relax and when I don't go to the gym or play basketball to relax, I watch movies and TV shows. My favorite TV show of all time is probably Supernatural. I just love it. I don't know. People could be like, it's so repetitive, but I love it. Sam and Dean all the way, and Castiel. I'll say, but I also love movies. There's movies like I like Superbad a lot growing up, and then I love. There's movies like Perks of Being a Wallflower. That was really good, and also Scott Pilgrim. That was really good, honestly. But I like any movie. I'm the type of person that goes to a movie theater. It can have like a 12% on Rotten Tomato, and I'll be like, dude, that was sick. And my friends are like, they don't even ask my opinion because they know I'm gonna say that was a good movie. Like I was like, I don't know. I feel like people put a lot of time into making movies, so I'm gonna say it's good. It's gonna be good. Oh, actually, the new movie with Ryan Gosling, that was really good.
Is that the Project Hail Mary?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I honestly think he should win an award for that. To act by herself or act with a rock, that's amazing, dude. Amazing.
Was it Ryan Gosling or was it Ryan Reynolds?
It's Ryan Gosling, dude.
It was Gosling. Okay. Oh shit.
So no one likes Ryan Reynolds right now. So it's Ryan Gosling, definitely.
Okay. I have to apologize then. I think in another interview I probably said Ryan Reynolds when they brought up Project Hail Mary. So I apologize. So,
no, you're good. You're good. No, I was just saying, like, Ryan Gosling right now, he's like the it guy. Like, I feel like ever since the Barbie movie, he's like the it guy.
He's the guy that we need when the time.
Yeah, honestly, he just seems like a really, like, even like in SNL, like he just seems like a funny, like, chill guy. You know what I mean? Like he's famous, but I feel like he wouldn't use that against you.
That's
and
cool.
If we get famous like that, I promise I'll be like that too.
All right. In which case, I'll be the first in line for an autograph. So.
Oh, easily, man. Oh, that's a funny thing. Actually, we've been signing a lot of autographs lately, just for people asking for them. And our first 20 signatures were terrible. So nowadays, I practice and I found out what I'm gonna do from now on. Like, I'm happy about that. But it was like, man, we sent someone said like, yo, I put your t-shirt above my TV stand, and they framed it, right? And we signed it, and it showed it, and then it looked like it was signed by people with two left hands. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, that's crazy. She was like, oh, I'll cherish this forever. And I was like, gosh, please let us redo that. Please let's get another shirt and redo this.
Next thing you know, they're going to put it up. It's going to be the Shrine of Moonroof.
Yeah, no, it's awesome when people show us that, though. Like, oh, I wear this, or I signed this, or like this. We are trying to actually, I'll tell you first, we're trying to create CDs, maybe a small package of vinyls for our 1 year release of our debut album, probably coming in July and stuff. So, yeah, hopefully when people are asking for that, and we promise we'll sign all of them, it'll look cool and all that stuff. So, yeah.
I think my parents always make the joke when it came to do it in cursive or the handwriting sort of stuff. They said you had to go back to Catholic school in order to, they would teach.
Well, that's what I mean. I used to be I think about it. Cursive was a really good thing, but if you ask me to write cursive now, oh man, I'm terrible. Actually, if you ask, that's what I mean. It's simple things like that we learned in school, like math or anything. Do we use it in everyday lives? No, dude. I don't know. I don't know. I don't read books either that much, so I just kind of, I can read subtitles, in anime, and that's amazing. So I still read. Don't worry. When people are like, "What do you read?" I say subtitles.
Because we keep it in the Korean or Japanese.
Yeah, I literally I watch a lot of K-dramas or Korean TV shows as well, and I understand most of it, but it's kind of nice to, really still understand everything that's going on.
Actually, I got more into the shonen, the mangas, and all those guys. Unfortunately, out of Japan there too. So,
oh, nice.
I was trying to remember if there was a Korean one. Do you have a particular favorite, a Korean anime or manga that you read?
Korean anime. I'll say, wasn't it Tower of God?
I think I heard about it, but I don't think I watched it. I think
Tower of
I might know
God,
it's-
and also there was another one. It was a fighting one. It's like it's almost like Tower of God, but it's also like I forgot, but it's like used to watch it. It was really good. Yeah, but most of the anime you see, it's like literally 99% is probably from Japan. So
yeah, they got you be in that category, so you got some work to
yeah.
do. So, all right, but all great choices. Uh, I guess in terms of drinks, do you have a favorite alcoholic drink and non-alcoholic drink?
We all keep it simple. None of us are really heavy drinkers. If we go to a show and they offer us they give us usually like drink tickets. I'll usually get a Yingling, like shout out Pottsville. And then or is it Pottstown or Pottsville? It's Pottsville.
Pottsville,
But
yeah.
yeah, Pottsville, shout out Yingling. Dan will probably get a Yingling as well. Johnny gets like the light lager, so we'll probably get a Miller. And then Kevin, he likes like I don't know, like dark beers a lot. Actually, Dan likes sour beers too. But yeah, we're just a very simple dudes. We'll just grab a beer or two and that's it. But never before a show. That's the thing. Never before a show. That's the rule we made. Only
Smart
after
thinking,
a show.
Oh, only after a show, yeah. That's smart thinking. So yeah.
Well, yeah, because we live and learn. Like one day, right in college or whatever, we played a show and it was to a point where we were playing with this like one band that was they don't exist anymore, but they were like super bad. And I didn't really want to go on stage. And I was like, so my friends were drinking and they're like, when do you guys play? Because they didn't want to be there either. So I was getting like a little nervous. So I started drinking a lot with my guitarist at the time. We drank a lot. And then we played. At first it sounded really good, everyone said. And then at one moment, because he sang too, we were just like messing up everything. But people said we were still great. And after that, my drummer, Dan, was like, yeah, you're never drinking ever before a show. And I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Valid point there too. So, all right. And for lots of fun questions, who have you been listening to a good bit recently in terms of the indie and what do you consider mainstream worlds these days?
I still listen. I listen, like I said, I think I listen to like Turnstile. I listen to anything. There's a playlist called Feel Good Indie Rock. I always try to see if something new comes through. There's a lot of songs I listen to, but not by choice, I feel like, when I'm at the gym. But I'll say, I always, I still listen to like the 1975 when I can. And there's a lot of up and coming bands too that I'm seeing too. I'm just going, Hot Mulligan, I always liked. I listen to Hot Mulligan a lot. Yeah, honestly, I'm more of like our music's not like it, but I like pop punk a lot. Or like that playlist that says pop punk's not dead. More like a Spotify playlist guy. So I listen to a lot of like indie rock, but I listen to rap as well. Not recently, but my go-to is gonna be Lil Uzi Vert. Like, no, he's from Philly, gotta rap all day. I still love that guy. Lil Uzi only follows one person on Instagram, and it's Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback, because Fernando's like, hey man, like my favorite artist to get pumped up is Lil Uzi Vert. And you're not a Raiders fan. I'm not a Raiders fan either, but you gotta be excited for the Raiders. I'll just say that much. Like they have a very interesting team. I think they're gonna be really fun to watch.
All I'm going to say is that you did take Mendoza. That boy better put on some weight right there, too, because he's going to break like a stick when he goes on that field. Trust me.
Who?
Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza, yeah.
Oh, he's going to gain like 20 pounds. You know how NFL players do.
So, yeah.
He's going to be like a Big Ben, No, I'm not just kidding. Big Ben was just a big dude, I want to say.
He lost his running ability. He lost his running ability a little bit later in life, as you probably could tell from the last couple seasons.
Hey, man, growing up, before I became like a diehard Eagles fan, I used to love Hines Ward, you know what I mean? Shout out to Hines and everything. So, that when you guys beat the Seahawks, it was, I was kind of rooting for you guys because I didn't really know anyone from the Seahawks, so I was just like, yep, that's awesome. But yeah.
All right. But still much love, even to the Eagles there too. So I got love to the Eagles, even though AJ Brown, a little bit
AJ
too
Brown's
crazy.
probably leaving, but it's okay. Like I feel like the Eagles. Well, the Eagles have like 10 receivers right now, but I feel like Devontae Smith and that Lemon guy is gonna be pretty good, honestly.
They're good, capable hands. So, in which case, good luck this year, boys.
Good luck to you too.
Thank you. All right. So, Dave, we're down to one more question in my podcast. Before we jump into it, would you like to ask me anything real quick?
No, honestly, I just appreciate you're a very chill guy, so I appreciate having me on the podcast. And yeah,
I'll say sorry about the light. Unfortunately, I did one
oh,
earlier.
dude, you're good, man. Seriously,
So that's why we're in the dark side of the force now. So,
oh, dude, that's totally fine.
that's all right. All right. But there's nothing else. Here's how I'll phrase the last question. All right. So, given the amount of negativity that you have been seeing going on in the world these days, whether for news outlets or even word of mouth or even post on social media, these days, I feel like people need some sort of hope. So, what would be your message of hope for musicians and people out there so they can move forward with their lives?
Honestly, like I said before, I think your hope is. I know there's been a lot of crazy things going on, especially political stuff and like all that the leading to the gas prices and everything. But it's like it's to the point like do what you can control. I mean, really, there's not much we can control about that, but it's also like don't let it try to ruin your dream or your vision. And then if negativity, like a lot of people will be negative towards you because a lot of people actually that not to us, but I see a lot of people being negative to other people because they're probably like too afraid to actually do what you're trying to do, kind of thing. It's like everyone could be, what do they call, like a keyboard warrior? Like it's very easy to be behind a screen and just say you stink. So I don't know. It's kind of really hard to put yourself out there, whether it's like a podcast or it's like band or you like trying to do mukbangs or whatever. Anything you're trying to do, just like you have one life. And like, I ask myself, what's the point of life all the time? I just feel like it's like trying to accomplish what you're trying to do. Like that's it. Easy as that, whether it's going to school or whatever, get a job, everything. It's like, for me, I have like one goal in my life really, and that's the band. And I'm cool with that,
Spoken like a true prodigy. So,
thank you.
All right. All right. But thanks so much for sharing it, Dan. It really does mean a lot. So,
Oh, no worries, dude.
But we have reached the end of my podcast right here, Dave. So I guess, do you got any shout outs you want to give real quick to anybody?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say shout out to the band, but also shout out to anyone that's helped, anybody that actually listens to our music or has been along our journey from day one or even now, new followers. Like, thanks for being a part of the journey. I always tell people that all the time. Like, thanks just for like being with us, because that really doesn't mean a lot. When people comment on our videos, I try my best to react to them. Anybody that DMs us and says they like our music, that means a lot to us because that's what we do it for. Like, we do it for ourselves, of course, but we also do it we want to see how music can affect other people, because that's why everyone listens to music, it like affects us. Like, when growing up, I didn't listen to any music except for like 2 songs, and it was like by The Script, Break Even, and also The Fray, Over My Head. But those songs I loved because it helped me during my like breakups in like in like whatever, like school and stuff. So, but growing up, like I just, when people tell us like a lot of things, like, hey, like this song meant a lot to me because of this or that, in my head I'm like, I don't know how it really did that because it wasn't about that, but if it helps you, that's awesome. That's all I can ask. So shout out to anyone that supports us, and we do, like, as a band, I'll say this, like, we really do appreciate and every one of you guys. Thank you.
That's good to hear. I was about to say, man, you were a player back in the day. So yeah,
No.
not so much
Right now,
anymore.
my only focus is the band.
All right, give that there too. Just real quick for the audience, can you just list what social media and streaming platforms you guys are on, so that anyone else can check you out?
Honestly, we're on every social media platform like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as Moonroof Music with a K. And also you can find us on every streaming platform like Spotify, Apple, and YouTube as Moonroof. If you Google Moonroof the band, you'll find us right away, or just look up Moonroof Music. You'll find us right away.
All right, you heard it from Dave right here too, but we have to close out like this. So, everyone, my guest today was Dave. He's hailing from also Pennsylvania, but on Philly side right there too. Much respect to all you boys out there too. But he's part of the band Moonroof. He's actually getting ready to do a little bit of a tour. Not as extensive as the last one, but he's still getting ready to do some shows as well as release some new materials soon. So follow him on socials, all streaming platforms. Support these guys today. They got a little bit of a following. Let's keep it going, boys. Stay strong.
Thank you so much, man. Seriously, hope you have a great day, and thanks for having me on. Seriously, have a good one.
You too, but real quick, strike a pose. Stay tuned, yo.